Welcome to Rational Alchemy TV.
Here are some things that I've never seen. A ghost or an angel or a prescient dream. A UFO photo at a decent zoom. Jesus standing there like he was me or you. A best-selling psychic win the lottery. A double-blind test for homeopathy. A proselytizer who made me think. Or a can of beer I didn't want to drink. I even like 'em warm. See, what I want is knowledge and fun. Knowledge and fun. Knowledge and fun. The things that I want, they're knowledge and fun. Knowledge and fun.
Welcome to Rational Alchemy, episode 0. This isn't the exact episode that we wanted to record today, so we're having to make do with second best. But let me introduce to you my good friend here at the Captain's Lounge, Thom Lewis.
Nice to be here.
Thom, I know that you have put a lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of dedication into getting the Captain's studio fully functional, fully operational. Mm-hmm. So why don't you tell us a little bit about where this whole idea came from?
It was actually strictly by accident. A very close friend of mine and a guy who has been a mentor of mine for a lot of years. He got into a new house and a huge, beautiful basement and didn't have a use for it. So I asked him if he wanted a TV studio, and he went, after a long pause, sure. And so here we are. So it was a chance for me to get a whole lot of stuff out of my basement, but mostly it was a chance to take all the nifty tools that I'd been collecting over the course of years for filmmaking and everything and put them all to good use. And also I think that I've been the beneficiary of meeting a whole lot of very wonderfully creative people, such as yourself. And so now, with the advent of the internet, it's a chance to go forward and be creative.
I saw the studio for the first time, about a month ago. Mm-hmm. And a little English expression, I was totally gobsmacked when I came down here to the Captain's studio.
I assume that's a good thing.
It's a very good thing.
Yes.
I was stunned and amazed at the amount of effort and the ingenuity that has been put behind the whole studio setup, the way that the lights are working. Who was responsible for doing all of the incredible lighting?
Well, that was very much of a joint effort, but it all started with the lighting truss, which was built by Big John Thom of RFH Incorporated. And it's a heck of a rig, and it was custom built for this space. And then we put it up a few months ago and figured out how to support it and stabilize it. And then all the lighting, it's brand new LED stuff because didn't want to have to worry about heat or overdriving circuitry as far as power demands. And it's just simply appropriate for now. So
it's a beautiful setup. So where do you actually want to take the Captain's studio? What's the bottom line for it?
Well, the lounge is open for business, so to speak, and we have a number of things that are coming up fairly quickly. We'll be doing a kind of a reader's theater. A friend of mine, Bob Buckley, he's written a screenplay, so we're going to be producing that at some point. We've not only got What a Director Needs, which is going to be a short series. It might be another 2 shows, it might be another 5 shows. We'll kind of see where that goes. But then fairly quickly, we're also going to be launching The Actor's Take, which is going to be the actor's corollary to the director's show. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun to put together. And then obviously we're doing Rational Alchemy, and then coming soon is also going to be Curmudgeons in Training.
Oh, wonderful.
And that'll be a fun show to do.
Wonderful.
So
I guess the actors' side of things is going to be a good chance for us actors to badmouth the directors.
Yeah, but no one will know because it'll just be us right here in this this small space. So, it's going to go to the internet though. I completely forgot. Jeez.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so they're going to see it
They're
eventually.
directors. They're technically incompetent. They won't know how to use YouTube.
Uh, okay. No, I think that dealing with theater, anything that we can do to increase communication is going to simply make for better opportunities for both directors and actors. If directors have a better idea of what actors go through, which I think they pretty much do, because show me a director, especially at the community theater level, and I'll show you someone who probably has acting experience
Yes.
and has been on the other side of the audition.
Yes.
So, but and certainly if we can give actors a little bit of a leg up as far as what directors are really looking for, it'll enable us to be able to put our better foot forward. So
it should be a good series for people to actually sit down and learn from, to understand what goes behind theatre. Also, of course, interesting for non-theatre people,
oh, very much so.
because I don't think the audiences often realise just how much effort is required to put on a show.
Yeah, and I think that people have seen various movies and shows, about the little theater movement that happened a long time ago, and when people get together and they want to put together a show. But when you progress to the true community theater level, like say a Longmont Theater Company, and the amount of effort that has been put in by people over the decades is just incredible. And you need people who are dedicated to the process of wanting to not only be creative, but also be supportive of what's going on, because you have the technical side of it. I mean, sets don't just simply appear, they have to be built by people like Big John Thom and people like that. You have to have lighting people, you've got to have set dressers, you've got to have props, all that kind of thing. And then you've also got the legal side of it. When you decide to mount a show, then you have to get in touch with the Samuel French or Dramatists Unlimited and get the rights to do it, and tell them how many times you're going to be putting it on. You got to get the scripts, and it's a pretty involved process. But when you have knowledgeable people getting into those roles and putting stuff together, then you end up with the magic that is theater.
That is true. And of course, this all has to be done within a very tight budget.
Oh yes, yeah.
So that sort of makes the complexities of putting things together that much more difficult. It always surprised me on many of the shows that I've worked with at LTC, Longmont Community Theatre, down in Main Street, is that you look at the set from the audience and it looks perfect. You look at the set from behind stage and you wonder how the hell the damn thing's standing up.
Yes, very much so. There's actually a saying in cinema: it doesn't have to be; it just has to look like it is.
That's right.
So, and to a great extent, that same thing is applied to
Yes.
to theater.
It has to look good from 20 foot.
Sure, and if it does, then you're golden.
You're golden.
So, and then the other thing too is that that no matter how much or how nice the set is, at some point it has to be taken apart.
Yes.
Some years ago, I did the play Proof, and we built a house on stage with a swinging screen door, and it was absolutely fabulous. It had real siding, and it was beautiful. And then after the third weekend, we had to take it apart.
Yes.
And it was really kind of sad because strike is always, well, it's over. You've had this wonderful 2 months of an alternate life where you're becoming as close as family with this, hopefully, with this wonderfully creative group of people. But you get to a certain point and, okay, well, it's been nice knowing you. And the same thing applies to the set, which to a certain extent gives a show its aura, its at least I think its sense of place. So I mean, there's a wonderful show that just closed with LTC, and it was called and of course thank
now
you.
your brain goes.
My director in my ear just reminded me, Boeing, It was absolutely beautiful, but of course it had to be taken down, and so
Yes.
now they're moving on to Sylvia, which I'm sure is also going to be a wonderful show.
Yes.
And yeah, so
Yeah.
theater, but what it does is it points up that theater is very much of a process. It's not a thing, and it's even as a destination in terms of the human experience, you only get to stay there for a very short time.
Very short time.
And then you have to move on.
Yes.
So,
I was involved in a show very similar, Witness for the Prosecution. Beautiful, beautiful show. It's a 3-scene show, but the middle scene is the High Court scene.
mm-hmm.
And Mike Zarek and Andy French had designed this set that looked just like the High Court, straight out of London. It was absolutely incredible. So I played the judge. So I'm sitting about 15 feet above the top of the stage. And then we had, to the stage right, we had all of the lawyers and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
To the stage left, we had the witness table and all the rest of it. And we had the clerks sitting at their table
Right.
in the front.
Mm-hmm.
And during the whole course of rehearsal, we never discussed what would happen when the curtains opened for the very first time. So we all take our positions and we're all ready to go, and the curtains open and the whole theatre erupted in applause.
Nice.
It was unbelievable. We're all sort of sitting there going,
Now what do we do?
What happened? And I suddenly realized we have this thing in theatre called the fourth wall, and the fourth wall is the front of the stage. And typically when you do a show, you never break the fourth wall, ever. And I'm sitting up there wondering how to quieten down the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, no, let's build on this. Let us build on this. They are actually in court with us. Mm-hmm. They are a part of this scene. Mm-hmm. So I picked up my gavel. I started hammering it as hard as I could, yelling silence in court. The next person that causes a ruckus like this will be thrown from these court. And now the whole audience is not only clapping, but they're laughing.
Yes.
And we were able to pull that off for literally every show.
Wow. Yeah.
It was quite incredible. It was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. When you have that give and take between the performers and the audience, that's when the magic really starts.
It really
to
does happen.
Yeah.
Another show I did, Chaps, which
Mm-hmm.
was one of those shows. There were 6 of us in the show, and we gelled like no other cast
Mm-hmm.
I have ever known.
Yep.
And what happens is, Chaps is basically the story of this American cowboy troupe in the Second World War is coming over to London, and they are going to do a concert from the BBC, and this is to be obviously transmitted to all of the American troops who have just gone through Normandy. Unfortunately, Tex Riley and the radio roundup gets lost in London, so the Chaps of the BBC have to put on the show. I played Leslie Briggs Stratton, your BBC announcer. Well, this is the BBC Home Service.
Yes.
Anyway, towards the end of the show, the first part, it all takes place getting ready to do the show with lots of panic, problems, and all the rest of it. And then the last part of the show all takes place in front of the studio audience. And I eventually end up dressed in drag, come out on stage, again, hoots of laughter from everyone, of course.
Sure.
But I'm able to go and hide in the audience. So I was able to jump off stage and run into the audience and mess with audience members. Mm-hmm. It was I ended up one night laying across 4 of them.
Very nice.
It was just wonderful.
What were their names?
I don't know. I
There was
never wrote
Yvonne,
them down.
There was Carla. There was,
If only.
yes.
Yes. Wow, that was a wonderful show. That was so much fun.
I remember Chaps.
Yeah.
That was a wonderful show.
Actually, why don't you tell the story of when you first tried to film Chaps?
Oh, I'm not sure I remember that far back. Oh my gosh. What happened?
What happened was, if you
have to
remember,
shoot,
we had some outreach people come into the show.
Right.
And they was all sitting at the back of the theatre,
Mm-hmm.
up on the right. Well, the show starts in pitch blackness.
Mm-hmm.
So Tommy's got all set up to film our opening night. And we're all waiting, and we're there, and the lights all go down nice and low and black. Dan Wright creeps out onto stage and sits down,
Yeah. Yep.
starts singing, and it freaks out, unfortunately, a lot of these outreach people. Is your memory coming back?
Yes. Yes. Very much so.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, your filming on day 2 was superb.
Yeah. Yes. I do. I remember that now. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was a few years ago, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Wow. But yeah, so many wonderful memories within theater.
Yes.
So, but now the wonderful thing is that we've progressed technology-wise, and with the advent of the internet, we no longer have to worry about getting some kind of a deal with a PBS or somebody like that to be able to get things out there. Now we just simply put things together, and then they'll be headed to the internet.
Yes.
And besides shows like this, the studio, Captain's Lounge, is also going to be appropriate for musical acts, provided that they're not terribly large, and possibly even some photography and all kinds of things. So
It's wide open.
yeah, it's a very, very beautiful space provided to us by the captain himself. So, and yeah, it's a wonderful space.
It is. I must remember to call it Captain's Lounge and not the Captain's Studio.
Well, it's Captain's Lounge Studio. It's a 3-word combination.
Oh, okay.
And of course, Captain is spelled CAPTN''S.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Yes. So outside of Captain's Lounge Studio, I'll say the whole thing. How about that? Outside of this, what do you do?
I'm a professional videographer / producer. So, and anything that you can show to your mom, I've probably done at some point. I do a certain amount of industrial stuff, a lot of live event stuff. So, it beats the heck out of being a migrant worker. I mean, hey, with all due respect, I love being able to have a lettuce salad, and apples and everything. But on the other hand, over the course of my life, I've done a lot of different things, turned wrenches on motorcycles and such. And
Because you used to do lots of field trips. You used to strap the camera on the front of the bike.
I still do, and it's called Incidental Tourist. So, and the prototype is out there, and it's being shown to various musical acts or musical groups. Say this is a way to also showcase your music. So, and it's very, very nice high definition road footage. I have a camera that is mounted on the dash of my motorcycle and also a helmet cam. So, and then put those two together. And all the pieces will be about 3 to 5 minutes. And just long enough for a song and maybe a few hints on going motorcycle touring. And maybe some things that will make you think, or some safety tidbits. So, and yeah, so that's still very much part of my life. But
So you're a man of many talents.
that's the rumor. I don't know how much stock I would put into it, but
Yeah.
But I always feel like if there's something that we can cull out of a show like this, and that it's worth watching, and I think that's the direction that we're going in. All I'm trying to do is just simply, again, get all these wonderfully supportive, creative people together and say, let's hit the ground running and see what we can do. Because in great part, old media is going away. A whole lot of people going away from cable TV, from satellite and everything, and they're all migrating to the internet. And so if you can create worthwhile programming, you will develop an audience. And certainly that's what I'm hoping, as we've talked about with the Captain's Lounge Studios as sort of the brand, as it were.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah. So my hope is that a year from now, that you will be able to find dozens and dozens of shows under the Captain's Lounge brand, and eventually hundreds. So.
And a little bit of something for everybody.
Yeah, very, very much. And again, provided that your mom could tune in and watch it.
Right.
So, yeah. But yeah, and to a certain extent, I'm not sure what's going to be showing up. But you know, a lot of feelers that are being put out again in this wonderfully creative community that we have all up and down the Front Range. One of the things that we're going to be doing in just a couple of weeks, and it's not going to be here in the studios, it's going to be at the Longmont Theater Company Theater, which is at, I think, is it 534 or 532 Main Street in Longmont?
Easier to say, right opposite Mike O'Shea's.
Yes, yes. Which is the place where we all go to have a beer after we do a show.
And
But,
occasionally a few of us used to go there and have a few beers before we did the show. But we won't talk about that.
yeah, at least not where anybody can hear.
Actually, funny. One of the first shows I did with LTC was The Elephant Man.
I remember the
Don
Elephant
Warwick.
Man quite well. Yes.
And I got very friendly with one of the other actors. And so we knew that Don Warwick always used to nip into Mike O'Shea's just before the show and have a quick beer.
Ah, okay.
So Bert and myself, we got there a little bit earlier.
I remember.
So that
Bert.
when Don Warwick walked in, we acted drunk.
Ah, nice, nice.
Boy, I've never seen a director panic so much.
Well, and what was interesting is that since I was the AD, the assistant director
Yes.
for that show, and I turned into the co-director, his words, not mine. But what happened is that early on he would give me copious notes about how he wanted certain things handled, because he never got there till 7:30, quarter to 8, and toward the end, the notes started turning into one or two words, maybe on 3 or 4 lines instead of several pages. And I just took it and ran with it, and had an awful lot of fun. But
Yes.
I remember Bert quite well,
Yes.
because he was in one particular scene that Warwick just simply handed me and said, "You direct this." So, but no, I thought that Elephant Man was a wonderful show.
That was an excellent show.
Yes, I also played. I played Lord John in that.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
and I couldn't help myself. I always got the cheap laugh by we had bisected the stage, and so stage left it was the Elephant Man's quarters.
Yes.
And stage right was the laboratory for, I forget the name of the professor, but he had the skeleton hanging. You know, which you always. And so I was supposed to be in the Elephant Man's quarters, but I would come on and I would see the skeleton and
Yes, I
do one of
remember
those,
that well.
always get the cheap laugh. And anybody who was thinking, wait a minute, because that's in a different. That was funny. What the heck?
Yeah.
You know.
The hardest, actually, in that show, I was the Reverend, but an amazing actor, Jim Randazzo, who played the Doctor. If you remember, he has that 6 pages of script breakdown. And I had to stand there while Jim went through those 6 pages. And it was probably the hardest acting I've ever done, of having just to stand there and listen to him. And every night I just wanted to hug him at the end because it was so good. He was brilliant, truly brilliant.
Yes, yes. It'd be nice if Randazzo moved back.
It would be very nice indeed.
So, yeah, that was, how many years ago was that?
Oh my goodness, we're going back to what, 92, 93?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So what the heck, only 24 years
Yeah.
ago. Yes.
I don't remember.
I vaguely do, but that
Yes.
was it. Yeah, that was a wonderful show.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. Anyway, Tom, I want to thank you so much for coming on to Rational Alchemy.
Nice to be here.
And I thought it would be very, very good if people on the first show, episode 0, we just talked a little bit about the Captain's Lounge Studios, yourself as being the executive producer of all of this. Tom, once again, thank you, my friend.
And I would like to say extra special thank you to some of the people who made this possible.
Please.
Kirk Wylop, for one thing. Let me do that again. Kirk Wylop because without his incredibly generous offer, the studio would not be here, and we wouldn't have a lighting truss if it weren't for Big John Thom, who is also our. He's right over there. He's
Yeah,
our floor.
he's hiding.
Yeah, I'm not used to being underneath the lights. He's right there. He's our floor director. So, but yeah, and lots of other people who are
Yes.
kind of behind the scenes and for set dressing and everything else. But yeah, so looking very much forward to episode 1 of Rational Alchemy and everything else that's
And
going to
hopefully
be
we'll be putting
coming.
that in the can next week.
Yes.
Do we still say in the can?
Uh,
We can no longer say on the tape. We have to say stored in memory.
Actually, we're going to keep saying roll tape for quite a while.
Quite a while.
Yes, exactly, because everybody knows what that means.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Once again, Thom, my friend, thank you.
Nigel,
take
thank
care.
you. You
Knowledge
too.
and fun. Knowledge and fun. Knowledge and fun. The only things better than love and happiness are knowledge and fun. Knowledge and fun. The only things better than love and happiness are knowledge and fun. Knowledge and fun. Knowledge and fun.
The Fox network has sunk to a new low.